Welcome back to part 2 of Eternal Memories. In this filler episode of the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon retrospective, we will discuss the pre-release history to Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Explorers of Time, and Explorers of Darkness, along with my memories of the North American launch and a brief mention of the merchandise I struggled to obtain. Let's jump in, shall we? On March 20th, 2007, the Japanese news website Dengeki Online confirmed that a pair of sequels to the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon games were in development, set for release in Japan later that year on the Nintendo DS. Very little information about the titles were released at the time, though on March 23rd, a Famitsu interview with the CEOs of both the Pokemon Company and Shunsoft revealed that the sequel had been in development for a long time, and that both versions would be released on the Nintendo DS with minor differences between the two. All known Pokemon were intended to be included in the game, and the development team was set to take full advantage of the DS's features, such as the dual screens and the Nintendo Wi-Fi connection service. Finally, the last known piece of information was that the story of the game would be even more developed than in the first entries, and that they would take into consideration fixing the complaints about the weakening relationship between the hero and partner over the course of the story. Most reactions were that of excitement, seeing what changes the sequel could bring to the table, while others were cautious. Slowly but surely, the names were finally revealed as Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Time Expedition and Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Darkness Expedition. The likelihood for a Western release was very high. So when Nintendo confirmed that a localization was underway on January 17th, 2008, it came as no surprise to fans, with a North American release date of Q2 2008, which was changed to April 20th a few months later. Excitement was high, and upon release, the game got mixed reviews from critics, yet again, with a slightly lower score than Rescue Team, and positive reviews from fans. This, of course, has been a subject fans of the game have poked fun at for many years, complaining about how reviewers didn't give the games a fair chance, and how they shouldn't be reviewing these games in the first place. As a game reviewer myself, despite my small website, I can see where some of these reviewers are coming from with those statements, since a sequel can play it too safe instead of trying to innovate it, and if a game doesn't hook you after you give it a good amount of time, you really don't need to beat the main story as long as you know the most important aspect, which is how fun the game is to play. Fans will often argue that reviewers should have cleared the main story before they judged, as I'll mention in my next part of this retrospective, where I go over the infamous Explorers of Sky reviews that people love to bash so much. With a sequel that seems to be loved by many, how could a fan like me stop liking this game after it came out? Well, let's start back at the very beginning, with the memories I had of my first encounter with the sequels, to the piece of merchandise that drove me insane. We'll cover my experiences with the plot of the story and the gameplay mechanics itself next time, since the story is very big, along with anything related to Explorers of Sky. So sorry, there won't be any history on that game this episode, because there's not much of it. Don't worry, next episode there will be. Without further ado, here we go! Over a year had passed since I completed Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Red Rescue Team, a game that changed my life due to the story and helping me through a very hard period of my life. The effects of the story were great, and since I beat the game, I learned how to make friends, form relationships, and overall more courteous than I used to be due to the control my mom had over me. It was nice to finally make some friends, and with the release of Pokemon Pearl earlier that year, I was unaware of what had gone on in Japan during my time of enjoying the next main installment. None of my classmates knew about either, since we are all in the 4th grade and most of us just wanted to complete our national Pokédex. even if some students took the easy way out. It wasn't until February of 2008 when I discovered a little site known as YouTube and searched up videos of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, curious on what other folks had to say about it. Little did I know that the fateful first trip to YouTube would result in me knowing about one of the most beloved sequels in the Pokemon series and of all time. Upon scrolling through video upon video of people beating the Mystery Dungeon red and blue, along with people sharing their favorite tracks from the original games, I came across a strange video of a Japanese playthrough showing a scene of a Grovyle being taken away by a Dusknoir, a new Pokemon from Generation 4, through a mysterious portal before said Dusknoir suddenly grabbed two Pokemon from the audience. It wasn't from the Mystery Dungeon I played, so I began to use the power of Google to search up information. I was shocked to discover Bulbapedia, another big website which I still visit today. Before this moment, I only visited official websites like the Pokemon website and Nintendo's website, and even then on a very rare occasion, due to the fears from my grandparents of me wandering into the Shadow Realm side of the internet. Not wanting to end up someplace I shouldn't, I stuck to Bulbapedia to see if I could find an answer, and sure enough, in September 2007, Japan got 2 Mystery Dungeon sequels and an anime special. I felt like I was in another world of joy, knowing the fact that the game that helped change my life had a sequel, and I eagerly kept searching through Bulbapedia before learning that Nintendo of America had plans to release the 2 sequels on April 20th. I was completely surprised. I mean, at the moment, I looked at Nintendo and Pokemon's website and I didn't find much information about those games. Mainly because, like they always do, they don't advertise until a week or 2 before release. So I told the whole class about it at school and most of us got very excited. But some kids were only excited because it just had Pokemon in the title and they had no clue what Mystery Dungeon meant. Despite irritating the heck out of my special education teacher regarding the Jinji's Rescue Team manga for being the Pokemon kid, we were all quite excited, and at the beginning of April there were some playground rumors of the anime special being dubbed into a full TV series that would debut a day after the release of the video games, and you could pre-order it at Walmart to get early access. Excited by these random, unsourced playground rumors, I had my grandma take me to the nearest Walmart to pre-order Explorers of Time. Before eagerly looking forward to the release of the games, I also searched for information on the anime series to see if I could find any more helpful information about it. A week before launch, I discovered they offered something called the Explorer's Guide for those who pre-ordered the game. Thinking it had news on the anime special, I sent my grandmother to Kmart to persuade the clerk to give her the guide for Explorers of Darkness, despite the fact that we didn't pre-order the game, and because the game was in an outlet. Believe it or not, she was successful, and I spent the rest of that day reading the guide in my outside treehouse before it was torn down. But that's for another time. Learning so much about the upcoming games made me beyond excited, and reading all the interviews, all the news about the new items, new characters, it was super exciting, and there was a very amazing comic showcasing the beginning of the game drawn at the very end of the book. I actually thought that was the anime series the Playground was talking about, just in comic form, due to the message at the end of the book stating, "Find out what happens on April 21st. Sadly, I no longer have the Darkness book, but when Explorers of Time came out in the US, I got a copy of the Explorers of Time book, and the content in both books are identical. I would just stare at those pictures in the Explorer's Guide over and over again, amazed at Ken Sugimori's artwork in the comic, and I also enjoyed reading the interviews about what the developers would do if they were a Pokemon, which one they would become, what they would like to do, why they made the game, why they made a sequel, etc. And I was excited to learn about the exclusive items and new characters. I thought it was going to be the best Pokemon spin-off ever made. With my expectations soaring to the skies, I looked up info on the anime special, hoping for some sort of news on an air date for the English dub. I even cancelled my Walmart pre-order and moved that to my local GameStop in hopes of getting the rumored anime DVD right at GameStop when the game came out. One night while searching the internet, there it was! Wikipedia had a super small paragraph that mentioned how the anime special was gonna air on April 21st, 2008 in North America. Beyond excited, I looked up the TV listings and planned to record it on VCR, like I did with the Rescue Team special. But for some reason, TV listings mentioned that Ben 10 of all things was set to air on that night. I thought Cartoon Network made a big mistake, but sure enough, April 21st came and went. And while I was starting to play the video game for myself and enjoying what I had seen so far, the fact that the anime special never happened broke my 10-year-old heart. An encyclopedia, something my teachers told me was reliable to read, was incorrect, which made me rather upset. This actually caused my school to start telling the kids, don't trust anything Wikipedia tells you, for a few years, before they found out that the moderators take care of duties if they get false information or not add sources. So I was upset, a bit depressed about the anime special not coming out over here, and I desperately want to see an official English dub of the anime special. No looking up the Japanese special, and no looking up fandubs. I want to see the official anime special to not spoil myself, in hopes of it being the epic story I came to expect. At that point, I was around chapter 6 in the main story, and nothing special happened at that point. The agony of not knowing when this episode would come out really took its toll on me, and I began to get obsessed to the point it was completely embarrassing. Why was I obsessed? The reason is the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Time in Darkness anime special. Weeks passed since the launch of Explorers, and since my initial disappointment of the misinformation, and after I abandoned my playthrough of the games in the middle of May for a reason I'll touch on in the next episode, I was set on looking up any news for an English dub of the Mystery Dungeon anime special. There must be some hope that a special would be translated. I mean, the game had an awesome story and what they could do no wrong with it. But no matter how much I searched online about the game, I came up with nothing. And having no experience in joining message boards or online forums, there was only one option: emailing Nintendo's customer service. Why not Pokemon USA service, you may ask? And my answer to that is, they didn't have any. That's right, for a long period of time, you could not contact Pokemon USA via email or telephone, in any other method via their mailbag, which was a rather bizarre set of Q&As they held before they finally got rid of it a few years after this game came out. Therefore, before irritating spam operations from thousands of people that localized obscure games started up, I did my own, single-person operation, which consisted of me sending endless emails to Nintendo of America customer support, asking for news on the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon 2 special. They had no freaking clue what I was talking about, understandably, and directed me to Pokemon USA, which I couldn't contact for the mailbag. For the month of June, I kept on my immature email spam campaign, and after months of fierce fighting with messages such as, "Hey Nintendo, the special got a Spanish dub in Europe, when's it coming to the US?" I was victorious. As in, July of 2008, the inevitable English dub officially aired in Europe, in the United Kingdom to be exact. At the time, I only knew about via YouTube, so I eagerly sat down, turned on the video of the special and gave it a watch. A gorgeous rendition of the Time Gear cutscene from the beginning of the game came into view, and I was super excited. I saw the ever so handsome Grovyle appear, and as soon as I heard him open his mouth, I paused the video. It didn't sound like the voice acting I expected or dreamed about. From first glance, Grovyle sounded like Lami Yugi from Yu-Gi-Oh! And I had no clue why. I thought it was just a bad set of actors because it was only in the UK, so I thought it was British people being British people, as I thought back then because I had no knowledge of the world. So I stopped watching, thinking that an American dub would be much better than a British dub, so I continued to wait, and I stopped sending emails to Nintendo customer service, thankfully, since my grandmother found out that I used her email address for the purpose of spamming them. my fantasies of the game's anime special continued, because even though I did not have faith in the voice acting, the little bit I saw at the beginning was gorgeous in terms of the animation, so I was excited to see what the full special would be and hoped for an American dub. And I also was hoping that it would be just as emotional as the games. Even though I quit my playthrough, I was excited to see what happened next. I continued to check Bulbapedia every single day for weeks, and one day in August, I saw the news that made me overjoyed. The Pokemon Mystery Dungeon special would finally be coming to North America, in the form of a DVD, in a DS Lite bundle. Unfortunately, I already had a DS Lite, and my grandmother knew there was no point in buying another system for a DVD that she claimed would eventually air on television. Still being the dumb 10-year-old I was persistent and demanded we go to GameStop and convince the employee to take the DVD out from one of the boxes of the DS Lites for me to keep. That's right, degrade the value of a product without buying it by taking out a bonus DVD included. That wouldn't do anything bad at all. So as anyone with common sense knows, that's not gonna happen. So disappointed 10-year-old me went home from the mall crying over a DVD. And I really did cry about this DVD. I feel stupid for doing that at a young age. But regardless, my grandmother gave me one final idea. Something that would quite possibly make me stay quiet about the anime special so she wouldn't have to worry about me losing her email again. Why don't you just look on eBay for it, Connor? Sure enough, I did just that, and behold, an auction for the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon 2 anime special, along with the Grovyle poster that came with the bundle, just for $50! Eagerly calling my grandmother down, she reluctantly spent the cash, hoping it would make me happy, and that was the end of my ordeal. After months of dreaming about this anime, it was almost here. The next week went by quickly, and right before my 5th grade year started up, the DVD arrived in the mail, which, as you saw just a minute ago, I still have to this very day. So what did I think? Well, like with Team Go-Getters, I can't show any parts of the special because of copyright and I don't want to damage my account. As I mentioned before, the special starts off with Grovyle finding a mystical relic known as the Time Gear. The Time Gear looked really pretty, and on the big screen instead of a computer screen, it still looks pretty. And even today, I'm surprised they put so much effort into the animation compared to Team Go-Getter special. But my fears were realized when Grovyle started to speak. As anyone who's seen the special knows, no matter what version of the English dub you watch, his voice is incredibly deep. Therefore, Lamy Grovyle was in the American version of the DVD special. And I know I'm not the one who should be judging the quality of voices since I don't like my own voice to begin with. But come on, we all thought back when we heard this special that Grovyle was a duel master. That's because Grovyle is voiced by Dan Green, and despite having an incredibly brief appearance in the prologue that sounds rather strange, it was actually quality voice work. It was weird, but it still was quality, so I got hope for the rest of the anime special, thinking maybe the British dub wasn't that bad. After all, I spent $50 on this, so it can't be that bad. The intro plays with some amazing music that made me even more excited to see the epic adventure unfold in animation. And then we cut to a scene where Chimchar is in front of Wigglytuff Guild, which is the main location in the Explorer Saga. Just like in the beginning of the games, he's nervous about joining this team of famous explorers and gets scared by the sentry when he gathers the courage to finally enter the guild. So he runs towards the beach in fear, and his voice is okay for the most part, but it's a much better improvement over the Taya Gardner Charmander from Team Go-Getter, so I'll give him props for that. Upon his arrival at the beach, he encounters an unconscious Piplup, who wakes up and is surprised to see a talking Chimchar, going crazy before he realized that he turned into a Pokemon, pretty similar to how Squirtle did in the last special. Now I get to criticize the voice acting because Piplup's voice in this anime special is not that good, both back then when I saw it as a 10-year-old and right now as I rewatched it for the purpose of this mini review via the DVD. It sounds a lot like the voice actor had a bad cold when recording his lines, and it broke my heart back then to hear the main character suffer from poor voice acting. Looking at now, his voice reminds me a lot of Mega Man from Mega Man 8 on the PlayStation, which isn't a good thing. Still, at least it isn't. One day I'll explain why I hate that voice clip and that game. Speaking of which, did you know Piplup's voice actor played My Valentine from the Yu-Gi-Oh series? I'll stop with voice actor comparisons. Upon realization that he's now a Piplup, Chimchar offers to take him to the Wigglytuff Guild, hoping he would get the courage needed to join. Sure enough, the two proceed to do so and meet the Guildmaster Wigglytuff. The two give their basic introductions. They learned about the time gears being stolen by a mysterious... Oh, wait a minute. Even though I can't show it due to copyright, I will note that anyone who's seen the special knows that for some bizarre reason the English dub, Chatot says the time gears are broken. And so they joined the team to stop them from being broken. Even though we saw Grovyle take one intact, and anyone who's played the game knows they can't break. Otherwise, I think the world would just explode on itself. I could end the summary here and say it's just like the games, which I did with Team Go-Getters, but there's one last topic I must discuss before I end my summary. Sunflower. Since this is their very first mission as Team Pokepals, they must help a Shinx get a Gabite scale for a sick sister, as it would help her out and recover from her illness. So as explorers, the two agree to take on the mission and head to Labyrinth Cave to get a scale. But because they're new, Sunflower of all characters is asked to go on the mission with them. I'll explain my problems with the character in the next part when we get into the games and the plot of the games, but I can easily say that the first thing I was reminded of when I heard her voice was... Anyways, the special moves along, not really gaining much in terms of character development or plot, besides showing off Team Razorwind for a few minutes and a Dimensional Screen, which is an ability that managed to save the team from a collapsing bridge and predict the future on what they were gonna buy at the Cacneon store. Etc, etc, etc. They fight Gabite, he won't get in the scale, stuff standard. But then there's an odd scene where Gabite used Attract on Sunflower, which is actually the best part of the whole anime special. And then you get them to discover the scale, find out Grovyle's up to no good as... For crying out loud! Again? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have another cliffhanger. Lovely. Like with Team Go-Getters, that's an anime special in a nutshell. Despite copyright limitations, I felt I did a good job in reviewing, in a short way, the anime special and what I thought about it. And watching this 21-minute animation back then that I spent $50 on, my younger self was heartbroken. Besides hearing the amazing performance from Dan Green at the beginning, the rest of the voices ranged from mediocre to... Cut it out already! I hate you, you stupid surfbots! But yes, overall, I was very disappointed. And to be completely honest, I felt bad for my grandmother for spending $50 on this DVD when it just wasn't worth it. After this incident with the DVD, I went on my life, playing other games on my Nintendo DS after Time and Darkness' story nearly broke me as much as the anime special based off the game. Why did it break me? It's gonna be Ants in the Sky episode. However, January 2009 came, and in the month of my birthday, I learned some news that would encourage me to finally beat Time and Darkness. But that story, and the story of what I thought of the game back then and now, will take some time to be completed, and as I'm filming this, I only have the script barely started due to all I need to cover. So in the meantime, I have to make this episode short. I sincerely apologize for this episode being short and more memory focused compared to the last episode, and there's no gameplay, no anime footage, so I hope to make it up in the next episode, because in part 3, you're gonna get ready for a huge episode. We'll be going through the entire story of the Explorer Saga, along with a look at the next anime special, and a look at some obscure adaptations that barely anyone has ever heard of, along with my memories along the way. Hopefully this filler episode managed to satisfy you to an extent in the meantime, and I'll see you next time for my full thoughts on the Explorer Saga.